Showtime, special guest. We've got James in the building. Big up the chat. Big up yourself, James. It's been a minute, man. I hope you're well and good, my boy.
I'm good, man. How are you? It has been a
I'm
while.
good,
It has
man.
been a while. Sorry about that. But yeah.
Nice, a minor, man. We both got busy. My chat have been on to me, like, get James on, get James on, get James on.
Bless
And I
him.
finally did it. So I hope the chat appreciate it. James's channel is in the title. I can't imagine you're not subscribed already,
Thank
but
you.
go subscribe. Obviously, this, you know what, yeah, James, I will say, obviously, we've both been busy. We've been trying to make this happen. But in a weird way, because it's the international break, I actually think it's the perfect time. Like, it's a period of reflection. Before I ask you, like, them kind of questions, yeah, while it's fresh in the mind, how are you feeling about the Sunderland game, man? Talk to me. Leave no stone unturned.
Yeah. I mean, just on what you were saying, like it has been a little while. I sort of had a weird 6-7 months where I just wasn't like in the content headspace for a little while. And that's just to do with other things in life or whatever.
Got to look after your mental, man.
Well, that's the thing. And also Arsenal just weren't very good. And I hate to say it, I will watch every game and I'll support for every game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not fickle like that. But I mean, I was, when we were 8th, I was there supporting or whatever. But I definitely didn't have like the kind of drive that I think this team's giving us all right now to talk about this team, to praise them, to enjoy the journey, because it's one I think we're all enjoying right now.
Right.
On Sunderland, to answer what you asked a bit more directly there, it's like I feel all right. Like I actually feel fine. Like genuinely, because I saw it as a bit of a missed opportunity, the fact that City and Liverpool were playing each other. But Culture Cans we had on Loose Cannons, he made a great point. He went, or was this the perfect weekend to drop points because you knew someone else was going to as well? And I thought that's kind of quite a good way to look at it, actually. Like, really, yeah, City gained on us, but we actually gained a point on Liverpool. And I think that kind of puts them out of it, if I'm honest. I think that's enough to...
What you think Liverpool are done? Like they're out of the title challenge?
Yeah,
Now?
I do. I don't think you can lose 5 games by November and get smashed 3-0 by one of your title rivals. That's not... By the way, can they click? Absolutely. Can they win the Champions League? Sure. Pick up silverware. I still think they're a very, very, very good side. But in terms of winning the title, I think City and Arsenal are showing more. And City and Liverpool look a bit too vulnerable. But I'm sure we'll talk about them in more detail. I feel okay. Like, if the game had ended 2-2 and they'd equalised in like the 79th minute and we were kind of fighting for a win and we never got it, I think it would be easier to stomach. It's the fact that we got to the 94th and that's how they scored. I feel all right about it. I genuinely, I feel it was going to happen. 10 wins and a draw in 11. Like I remember a few years ago when we were challenging for the title and no one expected. I remember we lost away at Everton and we were all like, oh, it happens. And I remember thinking like, yeah, you're going to lose a game eventually. But now it's like, no, now we're talking about draws, like, still picking up a point. Everton weren't as good as the Sunderland side at the time. So the levels have gone up. And, if you're going to drop points, it's not the worst way for it to happen.
Obviously, James, like that's your opinion, and you're right for what it's worth. I kind of share that, and you can only be accountable for your own opinions and things of that ilk. But there is a section of our fan base. I get it. We've been winning games, keeping clean sheets, getting 3 points. As you said, it's a big weekend. I do feel there's a slight in fact, a massive overreaction, really and truly, with this 2-2 draw. Because as you said, like naturally, I want to win the game. I think football's a bit weird. Sometimes you don't deserve to lose and you lose. Sometimes you don't necessarily deserve to win and you win. Sometimes, you draw when you deserve a bit more or less. Equally, though, there are times where you get what you deserve. And I think on the grand scheme of it, Sunderland and Arsenal are points a fair result. Now, people could do the kind of lazy view, in my opinion, James, and say, kind of disregard what Sunderland are doing this season and just literally see Arsenal, Sunderland, Arsenal should be winning that. And I hear that, we're Arsenal Football Club. We want to win every game, right? But when you look at their defensive record, as well as ours going into the game, the way they're performing, the fact that this is why they wanted to be back into this league. And when you look over 90 minutes, I'm sure they would argue they were probably better in the first half, was probably better in the second. Both teams conceded 2 sloppy goals. I personally think every time you concede 2 goals in the Premier League, there are games where you can win, but you can't really complain. It's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things, man. But like, to put it back to you, like, why is there an overreaction in your opinion? Because it's like people have gone from at the start of the season, Arsenal are not on anything. Arteta this, that, the third from the Newcastle game, literally until kick off the Sunderland. Nobody can stop us. And it feels like it's going the other way now. Like everybody's City are going to overtake us. They're lurking. But specific to Arsenal and the Sunderland game, like, why do you think there's a slight overreaction?
Well, because we're all desperate to win. Like, that's all
Facts.
it is. Like we've seen City catch us twice before. We had a 7-point lead that first season, and we really had a grip of it with 7 games to go, I think, in the 23-24 campaign. We lost at home to Villa. So I think we just have that sense of like, oh, could it happen again? You can't give them a sniff, but that's not realistic. I did a video. One of your viewers is very kindly, I think it's Sadiq, very kindly mentioned it. It was yesterday's on the Goonverse. And he said, what I said in it was, look at Liverpool's results December to March. And yeah, so he's referencing here the second half that I talked about. And the performance went up massively. But Liverpool as well, if you look at December to March last season, they had loads. I'll read them out to you. They had loads and loads of disappointing results in that run. But nor us nor City were, basically
nowhere near them, really.
Take advantage of it. But you can have sloppy results and still build momentum. Just some of them. They drew 3-3 to Newcastle, the late equaliser. They drew 2-2 at home to Fulham. They drew 2-2 at home to Man United, who were awful last season. They drew 1-1 at Forest. They needed injury time goals to beat Brentford 2-0 away. What else did they drew 2-2 at Everton, Tarkowski in the 98th minute. Remember that rocket he scored at Goodison Park? And they drew 2-2 away at Villa, who, were good last season, but you'd expect Liverpool to beat them. So I've just reeled off 6, 7 results in that, that spell that didn't really go their way. And so you can have that. And Sunderland, I think, is a pretty understandable one with the amount of players we've got out, with the fact that we looked a little bit uncomfortable. Football goes like this. Like, I actually think, this might be a controversial opinion, I actually think we were good value for the win against Sunderland. I actually think we played well enough in that second half and we limited them enough.
You just didn't see the result through, man.
We just didn't see it through. But Man United away, when we won 1-0,
yeah, we got lucky there still.
We got away with that one a little bit.
That's what I mean, James, about football. Sometimes you get what you deserve, sometimes you don't. It's all swings and roundabouts. And I don't want to be that guy. And sorry to cut you, James, but in August, I don't want to be this guy because I kind of hate this kind of rhetoric. But in August, if you offered Arsenal this points tally and the results, you would have bit your arm off for this. You would have bit, especially with a 4 points gap. Yes, it's early in the season. It can get close. It can even go down to a point before we kick off against Spurs. But every Arsenal fan would have had this. And if you didn't, you're lying, in my opinion, but fair play.
Well, let me flip it another way. We were 1 point. Actually, okay. When we beat Newcastle, that was to close the gap on Liverpool, just lost to Palace. Do you remember? We were so gassed because we closed it to 2 points. We were like, okay, finally, we pulled ourselves back in this race. And it doesn't feel like that. But that was us all being energized by being back in it. A week on from that, they lose to Chelsea in the 90-something minute. So we actually go a point clear of them to go top of the league in that international break. So if someone told you in that international break, by the next one, you'll have gained a point on City and you'll be 4 points clear at the top. Because remember, City lost at Villa. So in this stretch of 12 points and 4 games between international breaks, we've put up 10 out of 12. They've put up 9 out of 12. So again, if someone offered that to me, they said, you're going to gain another point on City across this next stretch of games. Yeah, done. 100%.
Even going back to the Liverpool game, I'm sure it was an international break where we was then. Like, people need to keep this in check, but falling on deaf ears.
Well, and now we're 8 points ahead of Liverpool. So there's been a 10-point swing since before. Wait, hold on. There's been a 10-point swing since before we played West Ham and they played Chelsea. There's been an even bigger swing since that Palace game where Eddie Nketiah scored in the last minute. So I think that teaches us 2 lessons. A, that football can change so quickly. So we shouldn't,
weeks a long time away, as they say,
too much. But at the same time that, when you put together 10 wins and a draw, that's a body of work that's going to show over a month and a half, 2 months or whatever, month and a half, let's call it. So in that time, Arsenal have basically gone, joint with Bayern, sort of top of this, Champions League group.
Who ironically also dropped points at the weekend as well, so you can't win them all.
Yeah, Carabao Cup quarters, and and 4 points clear at the top of the league. God, I would have taken that. I would have bitten your hand off for it. I said,
Same.
absolutely. Like, especially because I don't feel like a lot of our best players have clicked and a lot of our football's
I
clicked.
don't feel we've clicked full stop. I keep saying this every day. And I think that's the most positive and scary thing in that we've been boxing cleverly. Yeah, there's been curveballs, there's been injuries, there's been all of those kind of things. But when especially our attackers, when they're fit and available and able to rotate, the starters, when we're allowed to play and relationships can be built and consistency, you marry that in with what we're doing already. I'm not saying we're going to blitz the whole world and win everything, including the Tour de France. But it is promising. It is like, well, we've had to, like, when you look at the points we've dropped this season, I'm not saying I'm necessarily happy to drop points to City, Sunderland, or Liverpool, because I think there's learning curves for Mikel Arteta. I think there's learning curves for the boys. Like, even against Sunderland, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe we could have made some subs quicker. Maybe we sat off a bit towards the end and tried to see out the lead, and it bit us in the arse. Obviously, we could have defended better. There were some fine chances that we didn't take, right? But that's football. When you look at who we dropped points to, Sunderland were fourth at one point. I don't know where they are now. One of the best informed sides. City, first half, I wasn't happy. I think we could have won that, but it is Man City. We dropped points to Liverpool. It is Liverpool, the reigning champions. We haven't had any banana skins, especially with this stretch that's now ended with the bogey teams. And for me, I don't know how you feel, and I don't know what's to be said in the season. Obviously, we've beaten Atletico Madrid like 4-0 and all those kind of things. For me, the best result or best performance or game I'm happy with, it'd be Newcastle away for the obvious. And I think that would be a turning point. Like, if we win the league, win this Premier League, that is the game I'm going to look at, because that's the game I thought, okay, we're different. We're really different now. So everyone just needs to calm down, man.
I agree. If I traded you the Sunderland win for a draw at Newcastle, the perspective would be different. Yeah, tough place to go. You got a draw at Newcastle, but fair play, you won at Sunderland. The reality is, it's Newcastle who are down in mid-table and it's Sunderland who are fourth. Exactly. So let's take it at face value. Sunderland is the harder place to go right now.
Exactly.
Right? And let's also be respectful to Newcastle. I know they're in bad form, but it's still always a cauldron going to St. James's. How City do will be very interesting.
I think City are going to win, man. I think they are going to go through a run of form. It's a weird one because I do think the Sharks are circling. I do think they're galvanized. I do think they're going to go on a run. Equally, I do think there's going to be many twists and turns and drop points and game points between both sides. The difference is, obviously, they haven't got Kevin De Bruyne. They don't really have that length of consistency or that higher standard of consistency they've previously had. I genuinely think City could win this league. Liverpool is looking a myth, if I'm honest, but I won't rule them out. And obviously us. If we just stand up and fight, we've never had a better chance. So our Arsenal fans, I implore you, week's a long time in football. Every week, if you're looking at the league table, doing calculations and doing do more, glue more, as happy as Larry, you're going to upset yourself. But that isn't, I don't know what to say to that. I want to ask you as well, just because before I forget, what have you made of Man City? Like, where do you rank Man City? Like, what have you made of them, man? Because I know people will belittle beating Liverpool, but it's still beating Liverpool. It's still beating title challenges, man.
I'm so glad you asked that question, because actually going to come in on that point there. So you got to forgive me and everyone listening for being really pedantic about this, but I want to make myself very clear before people think I don't rate Man City. The teams we lost to were the treble winners the season we first lost to them, and the second season they won their fourth title in a row. This was a serious Premier League outfit. Like, they will go down in the history books. Treble winners, 4 in a row. And then years before that, they were the Centurions. They had quite a lot of those players still.
At the 100 points. City are just, they've done various different hallmarks in Premier League seasons.
So City are victims of their own success, because we should be sitting here right now and saying, wow, they're brilliant. But actually, we're being critical. We're saying, but they're not quite the City of old. But that's really important, because that's what outdid Arsenal before. Arsenal had a title-winning level team. We did.
Like, they were just several levels above us, unfortunately.
That team was good enough. The run they went on, we always talked about Liverpool and City being able to go on those runs. Arsenal matched that with that 16, what was it? 16 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat.
Something crazy like that. And big up Kai Havertz. Whenever someone mentions that, I always think Kai Havertz. I don't know why, but yeah.
Stupid run we went on. Now, the reason I say all that is because, in my opinion, that's not the hurdle that will be in front of us this season. Like, I don't think Arsenal have to pull out that kind of run to win the league. By the way, I don't think City will need to either. I think Arsenal and City will both lose a couple more games this season.
Exactly. There's many twists and turns. There's a lot of
Yeah,
games.
I think both teams are a little bit more vulnerable. I still don't think Arsenal have fully clicked with the attack. And I don't think City are quite. I know their defense. I know it's 8 goals conceded, and I know it's the second best in the league, and it looks quite good.
They can
But
be got
I
out.
think Bournemouth left a goal or two on the pitch at the Etihad. I think Liverpool definitely left a goal or two on the
Brentford
pitch at the Etihad.
100% as well a few weeks ago. I was watching that game.
So I never actually caught that game, but yeah. So there we go. So there's a little part of it. Whereas Arsenal, when we're keeping clean sheets, I'm going, yeah, no, that's right. Like no one got near us. If that kind of makes sense. Anyway, so guess what I'm trying to say is the reason I'm being super pedantic about it is they're obviously very, very good. Haaland is maybe the greatest goal scorer the Premier League's ever seen. And we're talking pound for pound for amount
Just
of time
being a
he's
goal
been
scorer, yeah.
right. And Pep Guardiola is also quite possibly pound for
They
pound
got
the
a bloody
best.
good keeper as well. And they do have the experience of doing it before collectively.
All of that. But if I'm talking about what I'm seeing with my eyes, the performances from the teams, I actually think Arsenal still look a bit more impressive, genuinely. I still think we look a bit more complete as an outfit. And that's with a lot of players missing. People need to remember we're 4 points clear with a lot of our best attacking players
Been dealing
not
with
available.
injuries since day one of this season.
Yeah, some have been, and people need to think, yes, Jesus, Kai, Madueke, they're probably not going to start, but my word, they'll have an impact when they're back. Martinelli, we saw we did in the Champions League, and Ødegaard was cooking before he got injured.
And we're
So
going to need Kai and
I,
Gyökeres, really.
we're going to need both. We're going to need all of them. So I basically feel that if we can maintain this level, if we can stay consistent, get some players back, I really think more than ever, whether we win the title is about what we do. Whereas in the previous
Fact.
years, yeah, maybe 22, 23, we bottled it a little bit. Maybe 23, 24, you beat Villa at home, but we were on a tremendous run. I feel like City won those. They stole those from us by playing to such a consistent, unbelievable level. And what they've gone and achieved with those sides is testament to that. I don't think this City are that. Last year, they were miles off the title. They lost in the FA Cup final to Palace. And this year, I heard people saying, if you want to win the league, you got to beat teams like Sunderland. All right, well, if City are going to do it, they lost at home to Spurs and away at Brighton. So one of us is going to win it, and
And in
there'll
the
be
last
some
2 years, if anything, the top 6 games hasn't been the issue. It's been the banana skins, really. So I've never quite subscribed to that rhetoric.
Totally agree. So sorry for the really long-winded answer.
Nah, man, that's what you're here. We love to hear what you got to say, James, man. Keep
I
it going.
appreciate it. Thank you. Haaland, Guardiola, and and what they've done as a group is to be unbelievably respected. And if they pip us to the title, I wouldn't be surprised because, also, and here's me sort of biting a little bit back at City, but they have spent hundreds of millions as well, like from January to this summer. Like they're also expected to. I don't know why there shouldn't be a free pass. That sort of City and Guardiola and all this money spent
Only
shouldn't be.
Arsenal spend money, man.
What's that? Sorry.
Only Arsenal spend money.
But this is kind of the thing, like we all spend money. So I'm not surprised City are up there. I had them up there to compete. I'm not surprised they're up there competing. Do I think they're quite at that level where I've gone, oh my God, it doesn't really matter what we do. If they click, they're going to nick it. I don't think that. I think if we keep doing our thing, we'll be all right. But keep doing your thing is easier said than done because it's about up here as well. And City have that. City are mentally incredibly resilient. They've been there and done it again and again. And yeah, I worry. So again, apologies for taking so long to give my answer, but I just think they're very good. I don't think they are like history defining, which is what they've been in the past.
And this is where it's all to play for. For me, when you said that, I thought of 2 things. Like you made a point about, and I agreed because I co-signed it in that they've been there, done it, and wore the t-shirt. Yes, our players, a lot of them have won trophies, but collectively as a unit, we haven't done it. If anything, we should be hungrier than them because, again, we've been so close, but so far type of thing, if that makes sense. So we've got it all to play for, man. Do you have any concerns? Because as much as me and you could wax lyrical about this team, because I do feel we're not perfect, we're not amazing, we haven't clicked, and I don't know where the season's going to go. I'm not suggesting we're going to win everything, but for me, for us balanced fans, and I think you're the same, I do think there's a lot more positives than negatives, really, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I would say for me, if there is any negatives, big up Clive Palmer, he made a point in that. I feel we've got this air of inevitability and maturity about us, but he did say, I don't know if we're going to be, because I haven't seen it, if we're going to be able to keep our nerves during the crunch moments of the season. Obviously, we've got a lot of injuries in the attacking realm. And although I feel since the Newcastle game up until this point, we're not playing scintillating attacking football, I do think there's enough of what Arteta has done to suggest some players start pulling their finger out and uptaking their form. Players get back will be all right. But some would say maybe our attack not clicking. As Rashid has said here, we're 17th for goals from open play. Like, is there any potential concerns just looking internally at our football club?
I think okay, yeah. So Clive makes a really good point there about nerves, and that's a fair one. But you know why I don't actually worry too much about the nerves in this team is because, 23-24, when we lost to Villa, that wasn't nerves. We should have been 3-0 up at half time. Like, we were killing them.
We're just
just sometimes the ball doesn't go in the back of the net, and then they found a way. We slept at the back post or whatever, and they win the game. Ollie Watkins was on fire that year. So, okay. We then go and win at Tottenham. We then go and win at Man United. We then go and put all the points on the board after that. So I don't think there's nerves there. I also think Champions League, you could argue there's nerves against Real Madrid, whether it be at home or at the Bernabeu. They didn't show it.
Squad as well.
I don't even think we showed nerves against PSG. Like, genuinely, that wasn't a nerves thing. They were just a bit better than us, but we had loads of chances.
We never got stage
game. Right. In Paris, we had loads of chances. So I actually think the team is mentally there. I really do think they are there mentally. So it's more experience. It's not like I don't think they'll bottle it. Experience is a different thing. It's know-how. It's, we're in this position. How do we navigate this? That's not we're nervous, we're scared. So maybe there's a know-how thing. I also think where I do have a genuine concern, and again, shout out to Cams, who's on Loose Cannons, and I think a few people have mentioned this. I think you just hinted it there, actually. We don't have a Salah of last season, and we don't have a Haaland of this season. We really are trying to do this as a collective. Now, I am not going to pass opinion on which one's more sustainable. You guys can tell me in the comments, because I have no idea. I could never sit here on camera and say, yeah, but Haaland scoring at this rate isn't sustainable. I'd look like an idiot. It has been for years and years and years. He has done this time and time again. I think he's disrespected
Salah previously as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. With Salah last season, I thought, how do I explain
ridiculous from him last year.
It was ridiculous from him. I kind of thought with Salah, though, I don't know how to explain it. I thought if he didn't deliver, I thought, yeah, but look at all the other attackers. I just kind of thought they were relentless enough. So I thought Liverpool's output was sustainable, if that makes sense. More so than just Salah's. Yeah. It was a collective, like they will keep scoring goals. Whereas with City, I do think if it stops for Haaland, then I think they've got a few more problems. But I just don't think it's going to stop for Haaland. I think he is disrespected as...
He's inevitable, man. He is disrespected because he's not aesthetically pleasing. The man's a cerebral, cold-hearted killer of a striker. His problem is you can't help when you're born, but if you was born in the 80s, the 90s, even the early to mid 2000s, you should be held in high regards, but you'd be held in a lot high regards. Like, you look around, obviously there's number 9s, but what pure number 9s are there that you say are going to be here in 3-4 years? Like, Kane's not going to be here forever. Lewandowski's winding down. I wish we had Haaland in it. No disrespect to our strikers, which we'll discuss in a moment.
Yeah, you make a good point. How many of them are actually out there? But with Haaland, it's a good point about the era. Would he have been more respected? Basically, does nostalgia always play a part, right? Like, when we've had you on the match attacks cards, and you did it back in the 90s, early 2000s, whatever it is, like, does that play a part? I mean, maybe. But I just think actually to do it in this era, and look, I'm no expert on what football was like back then. I started watching in 2006, but to do it in an era where the game is more tactical than ever before, where teams have more footage of you, more data on you, more everything, like one thing I can know this for sure, teams are more prepared for the opposition they're facing than they've ever been, ever. And managers have spoken about that. So I look at that and I think for Haaland to still basically be going, yeah, you prep for me, you do whatever you like, I'm going to score. That's another level.
There's only one way to stop